What is going on, Multiversers? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another edition of Tony Tweeted What? If you haven't seen this before, you can think of this as the Multiversus news roundup. Anything newsworthy that may have flown under the radar for the past 7 days is going to be rolled into one convenient video for you guys. And, well, it's the Multiversus news roundup, so let's get to the news, shall we? And I think we got, 6 topics or something? Well, let's get to the first one. So odds are you might have heard about this one, but just in case you haven't, I wanted to bring this one up. So this Thursday, in 2 days from when this video gets uploaded, Summer Game Fest is going on, and there is speculation that Multiversus may end up being there and have something revealed because, well, it was shown off during the Summer Game Fest hype trailer. Well, Jeff Keighley tweeted something out. I know this isn't Tony, but Tony does have something to do with this. So here's the tweet, right? As always, the games in this trailer are ones from earlier this year and down the road, not meant to hint at any specific reveals, just a celebration of this incredible medium. Stay tuned to Summer Games Fest for announcements. But look at the top there. Tony Wynn retweeted. So again, this tweet basically says, just because something might be in this reveal trailer or the hype trailer for Summer Games Fest doesn't mean that game is going to have any sort of announcements. It also doesn't mean that it's not. So, like, it's still a coin flip, right? We don't know what to expect. So, but it is interesting to note that Tony Wynn retweeted this, basically kind of, I don't know if they're trying to say, hey, Multiverse fans, keep your expectations in check. Don't go in expecting anything new because maybe it doesn't happen. But then again, maybe he's just kind of retweeting this to also say, hey, keep your expectations in check. You know, don't expect like 8 characters to be revealed. Maybe one. Like, keep expectations realistic, you know, hype responsibly and all that stuff. But Summer Games Fest is still pretty much like a flip of the coin if we do get anything Multiverses related at that event. But we'll just have to stay tuned for this upcoming Thursday. All right, topic number 2 kind of has to do with the price of the Battle Pass and cosmetics. Well, that's a fairly good question, right? Because since Multiversus is going to be a free-to-play game, well, they're going to have to make money somehow. So, yes, Battle Pass, cosmetics. Well, here's the tweet, right? Tony, my dude, has it been announced how much the Battle Pass and the cosmetics are going to be for Multiversus? It's kind of a question on everybody's mind. And Tony's response, not yet. We're still figuring out the details. So, yeah, it sucks. Like, and he tweeted that on June 5th. So we know Multiversus Open Beta comes out in July, and it will have permanent progression. And presumably, we're going to be able to buy cosmetics, buy the Battle Pass. So, you know, maybe about a month away from the Open Beta. They haven't quite figured out everything. I'm assuming the safe bet will be like the Battle Pass will be like $10. And then cosmetics, who knows what that might be, but cosmetics will be like skins, KO animations, the taunts, player profile, banners and icons, stuff like that. So we'll end up figuring out how much skins and all that sort of stuff cost eventually, but as of right now, I guess they haven't figured that out. Next topic is for all the Batman Beyond fans out there, Terry McGinnis. So here's the question that was asked on Twitter. How do you feel about Terry McGinnis being playable as a separate character and not just a costume for Batman? Now, Batman Beyond has been thrown around as a possible alternate costume for Batman in this game. Although, sure, they are Batman, they are both different in many different ways. Just because they share the same name doesn't mean they're the same exact character. And Tony's response to this, actually, I love this one. I love this one. So here's what Tony said. Having Terry be a separate character would be the only way I would do it. He's too different from base Batman to make authentic. So there you have it. If Batman Beyond ever gets into this game, he would only be his own character. He would never be just an alternate costume for base version Batman. And again, that comes down to movement and maybe, you know, move set. There's so many different things that, like, it does that does play a factor into deciding characters. So I guess we can kind of apply this to, say, other characters that might be kind of similar, but at the same time, they might be totally different. So you never know. I've heard something along the lines of some people thought you could do a skin of Sylvester and Tweety for Tom and Jerry. I don't think that would work, but something like that where sure they might be like a 2-in-1 kind of duo, but at the same time they're like two different characters. They are their own selves. So something like that would not really work as an alternate costume, and in this case, Batman Beyond, he's not going to work as an alternate costume. He only works if he gets to be a separate playable character. Next, a topic has to do with how you obtain characters that are released after the game launches. Now, we've answered this question many times on the channel, and I'm sure we'll do it many times more in the future. I can only imagine how many times Tony gets asked this certain question. And the question here is, oh yeah, I mean, if like a new character gets added after the game launches, could they be obtained without paying real money? And that's somewhat of a worry for a lot of people because, again, a free-to-play game, then they realize, okay, Multiversus has to make money somehow. So is that how they're going to do it? They're going to have to make money on the new characters that come into the game post-launch. Well, don't fret, don't panic or nothing, because Tony's response is this right here. Yes, all characters can be earned by playing the game. He's told us this since day one. His answer has not changed. So no, any characters that come into the game post-launch, you don't have to pay for. There will be an option to pay for it. If anyone's played Brawlhalla, you have an option to pay. I believe it doesn't apply to the crossover characters, but any like kind of base characters, you can either pay in-game currency, which is their gold, or you can pay their, what do they call them, the mammoth bucks or something like that. You can essentially pay real money to also unlock a character right away if you so desire, but characters have the option to simply be unlocked by using the in-game currency. So yes, you don't have to worry about paying real money once new characters get released in the future. Moving on to the next topic. This one has to do with Tony and how open he wants to be with communication about this game, about what he can say, what's coming up, and all that sort of stuff. So here's an interesting tweet from somebody where they say, "Be careful being this open with a community. They will turn on you and slander you and your team's name. Everyone's peachy until their characters gets nerfed or a mechanical change happens that doesn't benefit them. Players do not treat devs well, especially competitive players." Now, I'm not going to argue with what this person is saying because there is truth. There's a lot of truth behind this, especially that competitive players, once a character that a lot of or maybe even just certain competitive players, once they use that, and if something changes and now all of a sudden that character's not as good as they were before, well then pro players will start to, kind of go after the devs and say the game is dying, and they'll make okay, enough about that. Basically there's truth here. But Tony's response to this was actually so cool. So here's what he says: "I'd rather try to be open about it than the opposite. If players can make a good argument against specific changes, I'm open to discussion and having my mind changed. The discussion also helps me make sure I can defend what we're changing. Appreciate the lookout." I like that. So to kind of summarize that, he's saying if Tony and his team want to make a change to something, but the player base doesn't like that, he's willing to let the players say, no, we don't want that, and here's why. And then if it's good enough, if like an overwhelming presence in the community go, no, yeah, keep it how it is, then they're not going to make a change. So the devs aren't going to do something simply because they want to. I mean, I'm sure there'll be parts of the game that they might have to do something like that, but they're not going to just go, oh, you know what? I think we should change Bugs Bunny's pie, and now he ends up throwing 5 pies at once instead of the one. Like, they're not going to just randomly change a move and like drastically alter it for no reason. They're going to have reasons for doing it, which is why we'll have plenty of balance updates and changes throughout this game's life cycle. but they're not going to do it simply because they want to. That's why Tony's trying to be open with the community and say, hey, here's what we got planned. And if the community goes, whoa, wait a minute. No. Those first 4 options, those are fine. But option number 5, we don't like that. And then everyone starts talking about it and saying why it should not be changed or why it should be changed, whatever it is. The devs take all that in and they learn from that. And, you know, whatever the community overall decides, if, whatever side of the fence they land on, that's probably the direction they go in. So I love this response. It's not just, I'm the dev and you just have to kind of go with it. No, he's saying, I'm a dev. I might have the option to change it, but I'm also open to the discussion of having my mind changed in that same process. So it's cool. I love this approach. There's like no devs that do this. And it's such a refreshing, mindset. It's such a refreshing feel to, see this from a development team. Especially one that's named Player First Games. And the last topic has to do with perks. We've talked about this one many times on the channel as well, but this one keeps popping up. Same thing with the the third topic we talked about. I can't imagine how many times Tony gets asked this one as well, but here's what he says. Perks can only be earned by playing the game. And this is kind of in reference to Maximilian. I'm sure most of us know who he is. He's like fighting game connoisseur. So everybody knows who he is. He's got some epic reactions, and he's very knowledgeable. But in I think one of his videos he did last week, he mentioned something about he thinks the perks could end up being a problem down the road for how people might end up purchasing them, or something along the lines of that. And this was, something that was reiterated to Tony many times. So this is why he tweeted this out once again. Perks can only be earned by playing the game. So there you go. You don't have to worry about any free-to-play or pay-to-win nonsense. That's not a thing in Multiversus. No pay-to-win, no advantage. If you pay money, it's simply for cosmetics. That's it. That's all it's going to be for. But that is going to be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed the news roundup. And I guess I'll see you when I'm looking at you.